I know 1990 Sonic cartoon voice Jaleel White has Facebook, and he has a Facebook. It's probably his official Facebook. I do follow him on Twitter. I thought it was not to get into too many personal things. I thought it was messed up with the way things ended between his partner over a custody battle for his daughter. I just thought, ooh, it was like, you didn't need to go there. And he wasn't too happy that she put a story in the press. And that's why he went through the course to say, no, let's do this properly. Let's do this legitimately, because I want to be able to do this the right way, which full props to him for doing that, because not too many celebrities would have that kind of mindset.
Yeah, and sometimes the court system will bork you over.
Oh, yeah. We need Sally in the games, or at least give her her own game. We've been asking him for that for a while. Why not plush dolls of Sally Acorn, Bunny, Rabbit, Antoine, and Rota via Sega license? They actually tried doing that with... that Sonic puppet show in Sydney, Australia. I've never seen the actual puppet show, but whoever...
I heard it was pretty cringy.
Yeah, and the girl that they got to voice Sally, it sounded more like she was voicing Bunny. Although the idea of Sally having a southern accent, that's actually quite interesting in its own right. Let's see. I mean, the guy that they got to voice Robotnik, had the very sort of charm of Long John Baldry. I forget what opera song he was. Oh, you remember the song, the opera piece that Robin Williams was singing at the beginning of Mrs. Doubtfire as he was doing voiceovers for this cartoon piece? Think that one. And that just went over people's heads.
I remember that scene quite well.
Yeah. Why not IDW do a Sonic Saturn 1993 comic based on the cartoon? I'm all for that. But then again, wasn't that what Archie's was for?
True, but then again, throughout the years, they started adding characters from Adventure onto it.
Why do you think Sally Acorn was changed from pink to brown color for Satam? Maybe they just thought her having a brown fur coat was a little bit more logical than a pink fur coat. But then again, we're also talking about a series that has a blue anthropomorphic hedgehog that has possibly the most interesting eyeball set. Because I don't know how to explain how his eyes are for a scientific perspective.
For the sitcom question, D. Hine, can't really answer. I've never really seen it. And I'm not sure if MJ's seen Me, Myself, and I.
I don't think I have. Not to my knowledge, dude. I'm not intentionally skipping questions. It's just that when I'm trying to eat dinner and read out the questions, it's a little bit difficult. Oh, more Pepsi as the garlic bread has gotten colder and harder, which is never a good thing. Oh, that's better. Does third Robotnik voice Gary Chalk? Do My Little Pony Friendship Is Magic cartoon voices in occasion? If he does, he does. I mean, I'm actually friends with Gary Chalk on Facebook. The guy's very logical, tells it like it is. We need more people like that in this world. what are my favorite IDW comic books? This is where it's going to look a little bit weird. I've not really been a huge comic book collector since the Sonic Fleetway Sonic series in the mid to late 90s. Not for a lack of trying and just not having love for comic books. It's just a case of having the time, having the money. Because like a typical college student, I was always out of money back in the day, and not much has changed. Most of the money I would spend on back in the day is either video games or DVDs, because as soon as DVDs came in the early 2000s, like, I ain't buying VHS no more. Why would I want to do that? Will you buy the Cosmo reboot for former Sonic publisher Archie Comics? Wait, the same character from Sonic X? I'm guessing who's that he's referring to. I'm going to read a question from Adam Wofford. Hey MJ, what do you think a Sonic cartoon where it was set in a dystopian cyberpunk where... Ooh. That'd be... Yeah. I'd go for that. That'd be very intriguing.
I'd be all over that too. If anything, it would kind of add a bit of a darker element to Robotropolis.
Yeah. Why did Sally Acorn get a blue vest jacket in the second season of Sonic Saturn? Because parents complained that she was naked. That is why. Although I failed to see what giving her a jacket would have done just to appease them. If they really wanted to go the whole 9 yards, just do what they did when they did the reboot in the comics. Just give her some cycle shorts, a tank top, and then a jacket, and it's like, okay, you're done. But
it's kind of how they redesigned Bunny's design in the comics with her cowboy hat and her jacket, which I actually thought made her look a bit more badass.
I as well. Firebird, I just said that. Cosmo the Merry Martian. Oh, I'm sorry, dude. I'm not really familiar with that character.
The only Cosmo character that comes to mind is Cosmo from Sonic X, and
yeah, that's who I was.
Understand she wasn't really well received.
I mean, the only thing I liked about it was the fact that it was something for Tails, for a change, because throughout the first 3 seasons of Sonic X, it was focusing primarily on Amy trying to win Sonic over and failing miserably as usual. But the idea that Tails was given a pairing was interesting, even though she was part plant, which I thought, okay, that's different. But the thing I find that was particularly well done towards the end of the Meta-X saga is where Tails has to make the painful decision to actually fire the into the planet that she's trying to contain, and he doesn't want to do it, but he knows he has to. And the way they used the Shining Road theme from the end of season 2 of Sonic X really helped elevate the tension and the sadness of that theme. But as usual, the English dub butchered it.
It's for kids' entertainment. What do you expect? Voice actors good, voice direction and script writers, not so much outside of maybe Ultimate Muscle and Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
I felt that was like the only, particularly with that series, that was the only animated series I'd seen them do, because that series was so on point. And it was just weird, reading through the cast list. Oh, voicing April O'Neil, Veronica Taylor. What?
Let's see, why isn't Sally Acorn part of Sonic X or Sonic Boom? Boom, I can't really answer, but Sonic X, she'd probably just be reduced to a background character because most of the development either went towards Sonic or Chris. And don't get me wrong, I don't have this psychotic hatred for Chris Thorndike or anything, but it seemed like he took all the important roles that the characters did in Adventure, and it just seemed off.
I mean, when they did the ending scene of what is the end of the first season of Sonic X, where they're trying to gather the emeralds, and Sonic ends up bringing the floating island and parts of the Mystic Ruins back with him. You kind of feel for Chris a little bit, which they kind of revisit again in episode 50 and 51, where he fears he's going to be left on his own again, and Sonic was the only real friend that he had. It's just the way he went about doing some of these things, where it was seen as a little bit selfish. And on one angle, yeah, it does, but then you have to look at it from his perspective, kind of thing. All right, again, I don't agree with it, but I can see why he was doing it. And also, as you pretty much mentioned, taking away some of the important scenes from the Adventure adaptation, whereas in Adventure 2, it would be Amy telling Shadow why he needs to fulfill this promise to people. It's now Chris saying it. Fans are like, no, that was Amy saying it. Don't bullshit us. And I suppose they just didn't like his whining. The Japanese voice actor for him was fine, but the English dub,
Okay in other roles, just not that role.
no.